What's up, Bitcoin?
That thing never gets old. Good morning, crypto warriors, and welcome back to the Gentlemen of Crypto. Today is Wednesday, June 21st, episode number 1110. And of course, we're here to bridge the gap between the community and crypto every day, Monday through Friday at 10ish. Top stories: BlackRock Bitcoin ETF renews optimism, sparks waves of new filings. 5 U.S. enforcement agencies form new digital currency anti-crime task force. Apple removes malicious Treasure app from App Store, and Bitcoin 2023 in Miami comes to grips with shit coins on Bitcoin. But first and foremost, of course, we're going to have a quick look at those prices. All right, coming in actually hot today, super hot. Bitcoin at $29,118, up 8.61%. Ethereum at $1,822, up 5.75%. Number 6, we have Ripple XRP at 49 cents, up 3.1%. Excuse me. Cardano at number 7 at 27 cents, up 7.96%. And rounding off number 10 is Tron TRX at 7 cents, up 3.38%. Trending, we still have Pepe trending is up 15%. Sui is also trending 2.71%, and Elf Wallet down 92.9%. Recently added, we have Chain Switch, hilarious, Doge on Post-Chain. All right, for all those Post-Chain folks, it looks like you got some new tokens to jump to, and Vortex Cash. So those are the recently added tokens trending and the prices on the day. Really quick, let me go ahead and bring up this chat so I can give some quick shouts before we get this show rolling and going. I mean, the market never fails us as far as having another interesting day, even if the news is the same. We're definitely seeing that today, so I definitely want to get into it. Let me see if I can just actually go live really quick on this chat. Here we go. What's going on? Top of the top to everyone. Enzo, what's going on? No Cap, Ken, Street Credit, 64 ECG, Alapio, 5252 Crypto. What up, though? Good morning, everybody. Smitty Farms, DN, no ID. Good morning, good morning. Welcome back to the show, everyone. Another good one ahead of us. Here we go. I just got everything set up in the background. You know, I can't get this chat going sometimes until it actually goes. Crypto City, Bitcoin Shango, Satoshi Slim, Crypto Night Train. Oh, man, that Night Train, man. I don't like to think about Night Train still. Never got over that. Humney Developer, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show. Let's go ahead and jump to it. Top story of the day. Primarily why the price of Bitcoin is pumping. I mean, hey, it's again, it's one of those things. I'll start by saying this really quick. I won't go on a long rant, but really quick. Bitcoin ETFs, like Bitcoin futures, to me are all bad for the market. It's all terrible for the market. And the reason why is because it adds derivatives where there needs to be no derivatives. Like Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general, but especially Bitcoin, was made, it's in the first few sentences, to be a purely peer-to-peer cryptocurrency, right? The moment you start doing all these derivatives, you're buying ETFs, you're doing SIBO or what's the other guys? SIBO or CMX, whatever. I can't even think of the name. You're doing futures and stuff like that. Isn't Bitcoin in its purest form. I just want to point that out. And like using exchanges where you're not actually supposed to be using, you're supposed to be trading peer-to-peer or swapping peer-to-peer or whatever. Like using exchanges, you're trying to fit that square peg in a round hole. It is not going to work. We're going to have a ton of issues the same way we've seen with exchanges like FTX and some of these other bigger ones. We're going to see the same thing happen in the derivative space because it's not meant to be a derivative, point blank, period. So I just want to be clear and be on the record. I think this is terrible for the market. But on the flip side, it's also going to be just as great for the market. And the reason why is because, of course, it's going to bring more attention, more eyes, more education to the overall space. And it will raise the market cap, even of Bitcoin of itself, the bottom line. But the market cap of Bitcoin as a network of cryptocurrency, this market cap is going to explode if this goes through. And last but not least, as I mentioned the other day, it would be super unfair if BlackRock gets this ETF first. Like, I mean, if you don't believe America is corrupted after that, like our government and regulatory agencies, you are out of your fucking mind. If BlackRock gets the ETF, it's like the corruption levels are off the charts at this point. Like it's really a slap in the face. And yeah, stop preaching the goody to your kids because no one else is doing it. Okay, no one else is playing by the goody two shoe rules. All right, they're not doing it. If BlackRock ETF gets this, BlackRock gets this ETF. Let's go ahead and take a peek at this really quick. BlackRock's spot Bitcoin ETF renews optimism, sparks wave of new filings. Investment managers Wisdom Tree and Invesco have filed for spot Bitcoin ETFs, hot on the heels of BlackRock. Now, Bitcoin Zay pointed this out last week, but this tweet also points it out here about BlackRock. Fun fact: BlackRock's record of getting ETFs approved by the SEC is 575 to 1. That is absolutely insane. That's another reason why this is so big. They don't play around. So yes, if BlackRock gets denied, this would be only the second time in history they have gotten denied. I will also say the one thing you have to know about crypto ETFs is that they're not technically denying a lot of people, at least not on time. The people who have been denied, that ETF application was in the SEC's hands for at least a year or so. So even though they were denied a year or two later. So something we might have to think about as well. I see people buying into all this hype. Clearly, the price is showing that, as well as a lot of people are reporting that, hey, this price movement is not just a quick pump and dump or whatever. They're saying, no, these are actual Bitcoin buys from what seems to be some institutions, which means that price is likely to stick instead of just dipping right back down. And of course, some of the worst times as of recent last year, we've still only see Bitcoin go down to, I think, Seb was at 18 at his worst, 19, and right now as a late 26s or whatever. So this is actually great for the price of Bitcoin and where it's standing. People are finally starting to appreciate its value, at least to a low scale. But yeah, I mean, if BlackRock gets this or other people get it, then that definitely is going to pump the prices again. You're going to have a derivative on this entire market. But also a key thing you want to remember is that, again, they might not get it in the next year. They might not deny them, but they might not say anything about this ETF for the next year or two. Or, hey, if it's really some backroom deals going on, they could, by tomorrow morning, they can say BlackRock has an ETF, right? But there's also a strong possibility that even if they get this accepted and this works out wherever, it would not happen for at least another year, which would kind of be on trend and charting with some of the other ETF applications out there when they've got their denials, usually been a year and a half later. So if BlackRock were to get this in a year, it would actually be perfect timing, as a halving will have just commenced, and we would be going into now a new supply and demand structure for Bitcoin specific, heading into the next 4 years before the next halving. So even if they didn't get this approved until next year, you could essentially see institutions buy up all the way into that point, with the hopes of that approval happening again after the halving. And then, I mean, that would literally make the price go parabolic. You have a halving event. BlackRock gets the ETF the same week, but not just them, 3 other institutions the same week or month or whatever. I mean, like, literally, we could see Bitcoin go from, by that time, I think it would already be ramped up. So let's say 80K, 60 to 80K, but you could see it aggressively go to like 120, 150, I think, before we get what I think will be another 70, 60% dip. But this time it'll just be in the form of thousands of dollars, where you see literally like 50 to 80K wiped off the books or whatever. But no, it's definitely possible for it to happen. But again, it's definitely going to be corruption at the highest level if they do get. I mean, really, it's going to say BlackRock has 576 to 1. Whatever, what are these things called? 500 right now, it's 575 to 1. If they get this ETF approved, to be 576 to 1, also being the first organization to ever get a Bitcoin ETF in the United States. If that doesn't scream corruption out of some of the other companies and projects that have tried to do it, then I don't know what does. Now, one thing I will say that is very different with this Bitcoin ETF that's being filed for BlackRock, that also looks like Wisdom Tree is following as well. And that is basically, they're going to, I don't want to, mince words here. Here it is. One of the key differences with BlackRock's recent filings to the SEC is that it intends to enter into a, quote, surveillance sharing agreement, and quote, with the there it is, CME, Chicago Mercantile Exchange. Future markets, of course, CBOE and CME are the main two. BlackRock's proposal cites the SEC's approval of a Bitcoin futures fund by investment advisory firm Teucrium. That ruling noted that the CME comprehensively surveils future market conditions and price movements on a real-time and ongoing basis in order to detect and prevent price distortions, including price distortions caused by manipulative efforts. So again, it says here, Wisdom Tree is also saying they'll do it. To me, this is kind of a non-starter. again, when you're talking about price manipulation, um, in regards to the traditional market, there are a ton of factors you have to consider, and many of which aren't transparent. Bitcoin is transparent. So even entering this surveillance contract or whatever, and there'll be monitor price from different platforms, blah, 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 blah. The blockchain is transparent. We can see who's buying and selling and sending and doing all of that. So the reality is like it's already being surveilled to an extent. So to me, what they're kind of offering is just a roundabout way of, I don't even know, it's a roundabout way of, I guess, of catering to the narrative that the SEC is out there having, or at least opening it up to the possibility that they do have the ability, the SEC and any other government or government regulator has the ability to come in and kind of tinker with whatever they're doing on the back end. That's BlackRock and this ETF. But I mean, the bottom line is like Bitcoin is Bitcoin. It's peer-to-peer. It's transparent. So when they say we're entering this surveillance sharing agreement with CME and different future markets, like BlackRock are the price distorters. Like, this is my point. When you say, hey, we have Bitcoin, or I don't know, let's say we have gold, but instead of giving you the gold, letting you buy gold, we're going to give you an IOU called a dollar, a $20 bill, a $100 bill, a promissory, or was promissory note to return, to get a refund on this gold. That is what they're doing. They are manipulating the price. They're saying, hey, we have Bitcoin. We bought up a bunch of Bitcoin. You can buy from anyone, like any human being who has a phone, you can buy Bitcoin from. But instead of us telling you to do that, we're working with the government to make that legal. And we're going to have you buy a Bitcoin ETF, which is going to serve almost as an IOU. I wonder if that market, that fiat market, has ever suffered any consequence from getting off of the gold standard and just going all willy-nilly printing the dollar. Like, this is essentially the same thing. So when they say we're going to enter this surveillance sharing agreement and we're going to surveil future market conditions and price movements on real time, like, you're going to be the ones distorting it. And not get, like, they will literally be the ones, the same as CME and SIBO did when they came in. As soon as you started offering futures, you distorted the price. Why? Because instead of people actually buying the asset, they went to you to buy the paper futures, which again, unless you're really leveraging, it doesn't make much sense to me. But and even then, if you are leveraging, you can do that with Bitcoin as an asset. So we've already seen SIBO and CME distort prices, distort price movements, and they are essentially the manipulative efforts that they're trying to, not do. So to me, it's hilarious to see BlackRock come in, the whole 575 to 1 ETFs, and possibly be the first one to get a Bitcoin ETF. And as part of their narrative, they're like, yeah, we'll be here to make sure there's no manipulations, no price distortions. Yeah, we're gonna be working with CME because they believe in that too. And the federal government, the SEC, we know you guys have been great to the market. We'll work with you as well. Like, are you kidding me? This is literally letting the fox in the hen house. These will be the same people and organizations that will manipulate the price, distort it, try to jack up the entire market, because they already see, at least until they can buy enough Bitcoin and get normal people to sell it, and whether they're going to be scared to hold it, the government makes it illegal and usable, whatever it is. BlackRock and these other folks, props to the real gangsters in the room, SEC and all these folks, they've already realized, all right, the US, our companies, whatever, because we're boneheads and we always are scared to do new things because we want to hold on to our old ways and old money. Because we were so late, we don't own that much Bitcoin. But what we could do is convince the general public that for whatever reason, criminal or otherwise, energy, whatever, Bitcoin is bad for you. In fact, it's illegal. And if you want any type of access to it, you have to go through ETFs and futures. All the same time, the people who actually hold the ETFs and futures, which are huge organizations, multi-trillion-dollar organizations like BlackRock's of the world, like the billion-dollar CMEs and SIBOs, or even the wisdom trees, those would be the actual people and organizations buying the underlying asset. Meanwhile, having lobbyists go to DC, changing the rules and regulations out there to almost make it essentially illegal to have or hold. But again, you receiving the paper version of it. So, like, we've literally seen this happen again, or happen before. It looks like it's happening again. But of course, that is going to depend on if BlackRock actually gets this ETF. We shall see. But again, it'll be corruption as far as I'm not mad either. I mean, I'm a little bit pissed off, but I'm not mad because it is what it is. You know, you got to learn to adapt in any market. And this is a part of it. It's like, hey, no matter what country you go to, what area you go to, if you're not in the in club and the in circle at that time, then hey, you got to figure out how to adapt around it. You know, whatever that means, you got to figure it out. Let's see some comments, see what you all think. Maybe I'm going crazy. Jake says BlackRock owns some Bitcoin. They're trying to get the most. They can't do that without running the price up. They're running into why Bitcoin exists. I believe so as well, which again makes sense for the ETFs and everything else. Because now, again, like if I were put it like this, people, if I were the BlackRock CEO or any of these huge organizations, companies, CBO, CME, SEC, and I did want to try to control the network or at least get as much Bitcoin as possible, this would be the move I'm making. Yeah, if I have trillions of dollars at my fingertips, I'm about to make Bitcoin super illegal for individuals to own. In fact, only corporations can buy it. And then after that, like it's about to get crazy. I'll make it go parabolic. So I'm not mad at these people. I fully understand the plays that they're making. It's just that again, you kind of hope that there is some parity and at least the fairness in the market. At least that's what they try to preach to us. But again, we're seeing time and time again that's not really the truth. It's not really true. My Crypto Space UK said, "This is the game. Get your own Bitcoin." That's right. That is right. I mean, hey, I've told you before, at this point, and get a job at the 7-Eleven if you need to. You know, $10 an hour, buy that Bitcoin. You won't be working there forever. What else we have going on? Let's see. Trek PFC Will says the same paper market for precious metals as being set up for Bitcoin. That is correct. I'm just not into the again. The white paper literally says in the first few sentences, a purely peer-to-peer, digital currency, whatever, like is meant to be peer-to-peer. Is not meant to have a futures or ETF and all this crazy stuff to go along with it. Of course, BlackRock is going to get it. I saw somewhere someone calling BlackRock a bank says Black Bitcoin Key. I believe it. Let's see. Enzo said BlackRock will $15 trillion in money. Government is licking his lips. I believe it as well. All right, Zyro, do one for me as well. Who else we have? Let's see. Humney said price goes up on the fiat side means nothing. That's right. 1 Bitcoin equals 1 Bitcoin. That's very true. It's very true. All right. In other news, I hope you all like the title. The Captain Planet of Crypto Task Force has officially been assembled. What's the bad guys on what was that on Transformers? It was Megatron was a good one. It was a Voltron. What was the other guy? Who's the bad guy? But basically, they made like I call it the Captain Planet. If you remember Captain Planet, they all put their hands together to form Earth, Wind, Fire. Like that's essentially what our United States task force agencies are doing. 5 U.S. enforcement agencies form new digital currency anti-crime task force. That is right. Putting your taxpayer money to use, our taxpayer money to use for things we have literally not asked for and things they have already failed us on, i.e. FTX, and things which represent a very small percentage of the overall crime that's happening here in the United States and abroad. But the agencies have worked together for years, but now their joint efforts are official as they plan to ramp up on activity. I'm going to read it like a Captain Planet comic. A diverse group of United States enforcement agencies have made official its cooperation on crimes related to the dark net and digital currency with the announcement of the dark net marketplace and digital currency crimes task force on June 20th. The new organization will target cryptocurrency-enabled crimes such as drug trafficking, money laundering, theft of personal information, and child exploitation. All right, this is the BS, people. Like, all right, first of all, you want to tackle child exploitation? Tell us what happened on the on Epstein Island. Who was involved with Epstein Island? Epstein Island can help us answer child exploitation. You can also answer to me while I'm in Hollywood and I continuously see kids walking into casting rooms with weirdos all the time. I'm highly against it. Parents, don't leave your kids alone. It's fucking stupid to me, but they do it. So yeah, there's ways to combat child exploitation. Before I get to the grand theme of this, theft of personal information. Oh, you mean like the Equifax hack? You mean like the Equifax hack in the United States that leaked about half of American Social Security numbers to the dark net. That's what you mean. So once again, a legacy organization backed by regulators in our actual government. That's just one company I named. I think it was like 3 or 4 within 1 year in 2017, 2018. Don't get me started with theft of personal information. All right, money laundering. Once again, HSBC, weren't you laundering cartel money? People, Bitcoin is only, what, 14 years old, 13, 14 years old? Did money laundering just start in the late 2000s? What are we talking about? Come on, knock it off. And last but not least, drug trafficking. Here's the deal, folks. Here's the deal about this one. Oh man, let me give you this. If these were actual real problems, like for real, at this point with our government, they would not be able to stop it. All right. If these were actual problems, they would not be able to stop it. I want to be clear about that because, for example, if cartels were actually really using Bitcoin in mass and all the gangs and all the bad guys out there were using Bitcoin in mass or any other, for one, they're using Bitcoin in mass, they already knew about Monero and some of the other privacy coins out there. Let's be clear. Not only would they known about it, another criminal would have probably already created an entirely new privacy coin and wouldn't market it to other people and only use it for that other network of criminals. I mean, that's probably the most genius plan off the top of my head right now within 30 seconds. My point is the multimillionaire and billionaire criminals of the planet aren't really using this stuff. And if they were, there's nothing no one can do to stop it. And if anything, they'd be even more loud and braggadocious about it at this point because they're like, oh, you really can't take my money. And I really have foot soldiers working for Bitcoin. There will be nothing anyone can do. That's the whole point of this stuff with Bitcoin is that someone could literally start an entire country out the blue, or even better yet, for some places, stay exactly where the hell they're at and just start paying people in Bitcoin, and they get enough people to do it, then you literally can build your own army paying people in Bitcoin, and you fight, and then that's how people take over land and countries. It's very simple, actually. So these things that they're bringing up are outright lies, and this is a problem, showing that corruption again. Why? Because we're going to be using our taxpayer money to foot the bill on this new task force that no one but probably 15 bankers and maybe another 10 billionaires asked for, okay? But this is hilarious, like stopping drug trafficking. And last but not least, the biggest thing of all this, no offense to my criminals out there, but it's real. Most people who are living a life of crime, like a career criminal, the average one, in fact, I'll even go further, the above average one, 7 out of every 10, let's go to 8 out of every 10. In the comments, if I'm wrong, tell me. They are not smart. If they were smart, they would not do what they're doing or can keep doing what they're doing. They will figure out how to do something legitimate and make that same amount of money. That takes brains. The easy way out is to do some criminal shit. So once again, you're telling me a bunch of people who forget high school, a lot of them did not finish middle school, but they're going to figure out how to use all this blockchain technology, cryptocurrency, darknet, and so on and so forth. No, you're talking about 100,000 criminals, to be honest. You're talking about 100,000 criminals in this darknet that we're about to send this task force out after. When in reality, we have these same, if not more, issues happening in the traditional and the fiat market. So again, this is madness, but hey, you got to love it. It's happening. Representatives of Homeland Security Investigations, the Office for U.S. Attorneys, the Internal Revenue Service Criminal Investigation, the Drug Enforcement Administration, and the Postal Inspection Service, about to go postal, signed a memo of understanding on the new task force last week. They've been working together since 2017 and have seen the rise in the use of cryptocurrency in that time. Really quick. True, but a rise, even if you're talking about in crime, again, I know how to do this in real life, people. Put it like this. If there were 5 darknet and crypto related crimes last year, and there was 10 this year, I could literally say we had 100% rise in darknet and cryptocurrency crimes. It's off the charts. It's crazy. We had 100% rise from last year. It is crazy. Like, you all don't know what we're dealing with over here. Let's say one of those people accounted for 20 million or whatever. We've had millions of dollars go through some of these accounts here. You know, like, this is how you form these narratives to get that taxpayer money to come down to your task force. But I don't care about seeing a rise since 2017 in cryptocurrency. The whole planet has seen a rise. I want to see the actual numbers of what you've seen a rise in, how, break it down for us. We're not dummies. Put in an Excel sheet, and then we say yes or no to your task force. But in a democratic nation like the United States, we're doing it a little different. We're just giving them that task force. Quote here: the darknet marketplace and digital currency crimes task force's mission is to disrupt and dismantle. We have not heard that in the United States before. Disrupt and the fixes. Whenever you hear freedom of diplomacy, disrupt and dismantle, you hear those type of phrases and words together. Oh, the fix is in. Never mind. I might as well stop talking. The fix is in already. It's to disrupt and dismantle criminal organizations that exploit the appearance of anonymity, I can't say, on the darknet, or use digital currency to facilitate criminal activities that exploit the appearance of anonymity. Here's my issue with this. You can name anyone a criminal for being anonymous. They literally just did that from the was it the tornado whatever the Bitcoin mixer was it Tornado Cash or something? I can't think off the top of my head. Whatever the mixer was that they literally arrested the developer for creating. Now they can say, hey, you're trying to be anonymous online? Seems kind of criminal to me. Yeah, I mean, hell, if you get a parking ticket on the way home and you use a VPN, technically, hey, this is all types of criminal RICO indictments. It's all types of stuff going on. People, they can paint these narratives however they want. That's my point. There's not specifics being listed. They're keeping it super broad. To me, this is an issue. But whatever. This is happening. I figured it was going to happen. It's happening. Expected to happen even more. And yes, not only will it happen more, this is, again, all about tax dollars. Because if it were about actually stopping something, these 5 agencies that have worked together since 2017 would have been able to stop FTX. They didn't. They couldn't. They're not that smart. So let's stop paying them to be not that smart. Boom. Thank you, Humney. I look at the comments. I see the first comment I see is the one I want to see. A task force of old folks that still don't know how SWIFT works. They're trying to protect Americans, LOL. PFC Will said this is all capital flight controls. And yes, Tornado Cash was the one I was looking for. Appreciate that. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's all types of stuff. It is all types of stuff. 5252 Crypto said the Tate brothers got by Romania, Bitcoin included. Again, story on that one day. It was years ago. I was supposed to go out there to talk to them about Bitcoin through another person I know here in the States, or he was in the States doing some stuff. But yeah, people, it's so much going on behind the scenes. That's why I say it's a lot of crazy stuff. It's a lot of crazy stuff. All right, let's get to more news we can actually use a little bit. Apple removes malicious Trezor app from App Store. I had a comment on this article because at first I thought it was an actual Trezor app, like the real one, or Trezor. It's actually just a fake Trezor wallet app. After a researcher revealed its presence in the App Store, but it looks like others may also still be lurking. So Apple has already taken this one off. A quick search revealed that other ones were still there as well. Again, this isn't just with Trezor. Like anything that's going to be popular in cryptocurrency that's allowed or able to have an app, even if it shouldn't have an app, and somebody creates a fake app, like that stuff is going to happen. It's kind of like the fake websites, the fake wallets, the fake emails with phishing attacks. It's something there in this space you just have to be leery of. So again, we're not going to go too in depth about this. It looks like this last app has been up for a number of weeks. They say it could be easily a number of hundreds or thousands for people who became victims of this app. But again, it has been found. So there are fake and malicious Trezor apps in the App Store. So again, I want to make sure I point this out where it says how you can actually verify. Let's see. The name of the malicious app is Trezor Wallet Suite. You can verify it for yourself. It's been up for weeks. Yeah, I would say make sure you always go to the website of these tokens. So, or excuse me, of these different projects, whether it's wallets, tokens, whatever. So Trezor on their website should show you where you can get the apps, where you can download whatever you need to be compatible with that wallet. Make sure you're going to that correct website, bookmark it, or if you're one of those types who like to retype it in, make sure you retype it in. But again, just be aware that is happening. Some of these wallets are getting fake apps downloaded into the App Store, uploaded into the App Store, should I say. All right, last but not least, 2023 in Miami comes to grips with shit coins on Bitcoin. I thought this would be an interesting one, as this is becoming more and more of a story, of course. the different things you do in Bitcoin, of course, with inscriptions, ordinals, so on and so forth. Bitcoin maxers have started to rationalize the idea of NFTs and tokens on Bitcoin as being inherently better than those on Ethereum. So you've heard the Bitcoin Zay explain to you all some things he has experienced on the Bitcoin side of the house. People are like, no, you like shit coins and blah, blah, blah. He's like, man, I like Bitcoin more than anything. It's like, I'm open to everything type of deal, or I'm open to the truth or to the best way to freedom, in his words. So for me, like, I really could care less. I don't get into it enough. I don't get into the weeds enough to where I think anybody's even comfortable enough to walk up to me and say some madness about what side I'm on, whether it's Bitcoin or altcoins or whatever, which I'm happy about. But what I will say is that, not only, so I think Zay told me this year, he was like, he did, I was asking what were the themes of this year's conference. He was telling me, they definitely had a lot more alternative things on Bitcoin. So you're talking about these ordinals, NFTs, but we've also seen that in some of the last few blockchain summits we've taken turns on attending, and so on and so forth. I think this is almost inevitable, but it's interesting to see the main Bitcoin audience start to come around to it. And I think it will be inevitable because it is one of those things that's going to capture the market. It's already captured the market. And it will kind of be foolhardy, especially for conferences, not to have some type of exhibits. I remember last year, most of the NFT stuff were off campus. They weren't on the main stage. They weren't even in the main convention center for the Bitcoin conference. They were like, literally, you got to go 15 minutes up the street, take an Uber 30 minutes this way, and it's a back alley, knock 3 times, and it's an NFT gallery. It was kind of like that vibe. So it was interesting to see that this year it was actually featured at the conference. And I mean, hey, to be fair too, as far as talking about what projects should be featured there or even in the Bitcoin spaces, one of the biggest boosts last year at the Bitcoin conference was Celsius. Celsius had one of the biggest boosts in the entire conference. And we're talking literally, 6 to 8 months later, they're out of existence. They're going bankrupt. They're filing for this. This is happening, right? The program's getting shut down. So we have to be open to different things on and in Bitcoin for sure, But really quick, couple things I wanted to point out. Let's see. Among the most memorable displays at Bitcoin 2023 is a real-life toilet with the logos of various non-Bitcoin cryptocurrencies. It's an ad for a booth selling butt wipes that are moistened with the tears of no coiners. The marketing message is clear. Bitcoin is a real thing. Everything else is a shit coin that belongs in the toilet. And I do want to be clear about something actually as well. I do strongly, for the most part, believe that. I mean, 99% of this market should not be here at all. There's only a few projects that actually have any chance of real utility and long-term longevity. However, one of the primary reasons we're not only on Bitcoin and full Bitcoin 24/7 is because when we first started, we knew it would be boring to the general masses because like Bitcoin is harder. You have to read, like people haven't even read the white paper yet, but they're talking about meme coins. So we knew it would be like boring to the general masses. And then we knew it's like, you can't stop the rain when it starts to pour. You can't stop the rain. I got you, Zay. Got you, my single boys. Listen, you can't stop the rain, people. It was one of those things we already saw the shit coins happening, and we saw we still have never done this. Like you can go back to majority of it, maybe 3 or 4 times, but more for like intentionally be funny. We have never had like a week or weeks or whatever days on where we're like, this altcoin, if you want 30,000%, to pump, check this out. Next day, altcoin this 100,000% pump. Next day, altcoin this is going up 6,000%. Next 30 days, the same altcoin every day. Here's how you need to get rich, punks, plebes, noobs. Like we haven't done that. Almost every crypto channel that is huge by regular metrics, like I'm talking thousands, hundreds of thousands plus of viewers, have done that. Go to their old videos. They almost all have done that. It's like everybody knows it's like the layup to get the points in this space. But so I want to make that distinction where we never went that far, but at least we have like tried to hold the middle ground where we're listening and open to everything. And the reason why is because we can't stop the rain. As we can see with the meme coins, as we saw with the NFT wave, like all these different waves, people are jumping on those waves harder than they are Bitcoin and suffering every time they do it. And they're doing it time and time again, over and over again. So it's one of those things where it's not going to stop. It says here, but only a few steps away is another booth selling trading solutions for BRC20 tokens, some of which have been labeled shitcoins for Bitcoin. Across the walkway are more booths selling NFT mining software, also in Bitcoin. The conference even hosts a Bitcoin NFT art gallery. As Miami hosts the largest Bitcoin third year in a row in May, the area feels markedly different. Though there are only 15,000 attendees compared to last year's 35,000, the atmosphere has an energy and freshness that is a worlds away from the gloom and bear market blues one might expect after the massive drops from the 2021 highs. So a few things I will say with the attendees. I'm sure they got as accurate, super accurate numbers, but some of the numbers I were hearing this year are probably 10 to 12,000, and last year 35 to 40,000. So about 3 to 5,000 off in direction. I want to kind of point that out. Second thing I would say, I actually don't think that that drop in attendees is due to the actual market, a bear market. I don't think that's what it is. I think the drop in attendees has to last year being so successful. I mean, that's literally why I did not want to go this year. I was like last year took a lot. Like we were recovering that thing for 5 weeks, folks. 5 or 6 weeks we were recovering from that thing. It was a lot. It was intense. There's a lot going on. When we got back, you had to call up and check on all the different people and projects you talked to there, figure out X, Y, and Z. So I mean, it was just a lot going on. It was a huge success. So I kind of felt that this year was going to be a lull anyway, because it's like, come on, no, that's a budget you have to put in. People aren't going to knock that budget out the park every year. So with that being said, I think next year is going to be even bigger. Whether we're in a bull or bear market next year for the conference, I think it's going to be huge because the people like myself who didn't go this year be ready to return. So that's my thoughts on that. But again, what was notable were the different types of booths that were there. When I did go there were not these type of booths. There were mining, in general, Bitcoin mining booths. There was Bitcoin lending booths. Of course, lending was huge. And what was the last one? I would say exchanges were pretty big as well, but that was like the main theme. So to see this time it was BRC20 tokens, how to trade them, different market caps for them, how to mint those things, art galleries. Like that is definitely a different direction than the actual Bitcoin conference in and of itself for just Bitcoin. But regardless, this is good because it shows that the market is growing. And who knows? Maybe next year there will be boosts. And this is why I say it's the bad, but it's the good of crypto or of these ETFs and things like this. You know what? I know they're going to come in with their own teams and all that other stuff. But by and large, even the BlackRocks, if they do these Bitcoin ETFs, they'll need to go to conferences. They'll need to promote on channels. They'll need to do all this stuff. Tax them. We are going, when I say we, I mean the entire Bitcoin and crypto community, Bitcoin specific. Tax these folks. This is why we got in early. We stayed in from a professional side. When all these new companies come, tax them, tax them, tax them, tax them. Do not feel bad. Tax them again. They need to be taxed. They need to pay the tax just like everyone else because they're going to come in with their own narratives. But the good thing is they'll have a pocket full of money and they'll be able to buy up some of these bags you all might have had. All right. Oh, wow. This is terrible. Somebody said Titanic token to the moon. Very true. Possibly. I know the news. Let's see what else we have. Last few comments we call it a day. There's a court case in France. Yes, I saw that. Thanks, Trek. There's a court case in France on the same topic. A group of people are facing conspiracy charges for using privacy tools. And it was the date after the conference ended that they started making the announcements of changing terms of service. I'm telling you, it's crazy. Wait till Bitcoin hits that Black Mirror circuit. Yeah, I believe it's gonna be crazy. All right. Other than that, that is the show for today. As always, thanks for watching. I always go over too long unintentionally. The podcast will be updated here in the next day or so, so be on the lookout for that. And other than that, we will see you all tomorrow with some more